What's up, guys? Welcome back. I got another one for you guys today. It's a video for my toolbox. I owe you guys this one. I made a video similar to this probably like a year ago where I quickly went over my toolbox as I was giving you guys a tour of the van. I feel like I owed you guys an actual look into my tools and what I use on a regular basis. And this can also serve as a follow-up video for another one I had where I was giving you guys my opinion after a year of use of certain of these tools. Some of them are great, some of them are it is what it is. But without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys, so I'm gonna do my best to do this one hand and with the limited amount of space I have here. But let's get right into it. This toolbox right here is this full bank, I believe. I corrected myself. Full bank tool cart from Harbor Freight. This doesn't come with it. This is just a little liner from the inside of these drawers that I bought separately. Put some spray adhesive through it on top because I knew I was gonna use it as a little workstation. Great, it's held up. I put this through quite a bit of abuse. As you can see, some scratches here just because dug in, messed up there, but no dents, solid little workspace. Get right into it. Got my son flipping people off. Right over here we have some miscellaneous sockets. I don't know the brand of these probably like Duralast or something like that. They have the little color coded ring on them. All they say is chrome palladium. I don't remember where they came from. Down here are some gear wrench 12 points. They come in a kit. I'll probably post that right here. A lot of these, especially this and my 3/8 sockets and my 1/4 inch sockets, all come from that same kit. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. I have my Husky pry bars. All of these are from big to small. I have some, whoops, sorry, shaking so much. Some Loctite, some regular pry bars, crowbars, whatever you want to call those. Sometimes you need those. Let me move this to the side so it's not such a mess in here. I just made it a mess. All right, so I have my metrics on this side, my standards on this side, my 1/2 inch, 3/8 chrome, 1/4 inch. So from left to right, you got your Tecton set. I'll put that here. Your Milwaukee set. I'll put that right over here. And the gear wrenches that all come with that same kit that I pointed out before. These 12 points are Husky. I just bought these to kind of like fill out the sockets that I need over here. Don't really use them too much, but good to have. Right in the middle, I have my step ups and step downs from Icon. This is my 1/2 inch to 3/8, I believe, Icon set. I'll put that right over here. Cool set to have. Everybody needs one of those just in case you need to actually use like a 3/8 impact or 1/2 inch to 3/8. You need a little more oomph behind it. My Quinn digital torque meter, 3/8. Everybody needs one of those. You should be torquing down certain bolts instead of needing a whole dedicated torque wrench. Use that. This little wheel came in a little kit. It wasn't the gear wrench kit that I put up here, but it was one of the more portable one. See if that focuses. Love this little wheel. I use this a lot actually. Need to get into tight spaces where I need to actually use my hand to feel where I'm at. Pull this out, loosen up, tighten whatever I need. Milwaukee bit set that comes from a kit. I believe that's in here. I'll show you guys later. A couple adapters and stuff like that, all on the top portion here. Right here, I got a bag full of extensions, 3/8, 1/2 inches. I'm not gonna go through that. Those are just all off-brand ones. Some punches over here. I'm sorry, not punches. Yeah, punches. Right over here, I have my 1/2 inch Icon ratchet. Hold on, let me get in here. Love this ratchet. Flex head is not the G2. It does lock. Love this wrench. I use it a lot. I use it for things I'm not supposed to. I use it as a breaker bar. I have this one for that, but I still end up using that one, and it definitely holds up to the abuse. This is a cheap Pittsburgh 1/2 inch. I have a couple of these cheap ratchets that I've either collected through time or just bought out of emergency reasons. Cheap set, cheap one. Cheap 3/8 multi-positional. I'm not even gonna get into them, they're not that important. And a hyper tough sacrificial ratchet. If I ever need to use it and I know I might break it, I'll probably use that. In here I have my broken long neck Milwaukee. I need to get the rebuild for the head. And I have my functional long neck Milwaukee. Definitely recommend this. This is one of my daily drivers. It gets used and abused all the time. Falls, you name it. Held up to a lot of the abuse. I use this on a regular basis. You'll probably see this in my hand more than anything. My Icon ratchet, not the G2 again. It's the regular first generation, I guess you want to call it, non-locking. Love this ratchet. I've put this through a lot of abuse. I used it as a breaker bar as well. I've broken one of these already with the great Icon warranty from Harbor Freight. You can literally walk in, hand it to them, say, hey, it's broken, take one off the shelf, walk out of the store within 5 or 10 minutes. Highly recommend anything Icon or anything that has the lifetime warranty from Harbor Freight. Hassle-free. I know some other people have horror stories. I have yet to have any horror story with any of the tools I've broken. Everything has been a 5 or 10 minute fix. Right over here, I got my Miscellaneous oil filter wrenches. These are specialty. Down here, you'll see some sockets. Let me move this out the way. Whoops. Those are no-name spark plug sockets. Self-explanatory spark plugs. Nothing special there. My snap-on 1 1/16. There's certain bendies that I need a thin profile socket to actually get to the bolts. This is the one I use on a regular basis. Brought this from home. No need to whip out a whole kit if I just need one. Leave that there. Down here are my extra Tectons. These are my metrics that didn't fit in the trays right over here. By the way, the trays are from Harbor Freight. They're the magnetic ones. Highly recommend these for anybody that's on a mobile workstation like this, that the truck moves around a lot. These magnets keep them in place. They're nice and deep. I don't really like the plastic ones with the little stems. They tend to rattle a lot. Great little socket organizers to have. Some miscellaneous Pittsburgh hex heads. Some swivels from the Tecton set. Great. A long extension right over here. I don't know if you guys saw that. Probably like a, what's it, 2-3 feet? 2 feet extension. There's times where you're going to need to get in certain places. Good to have. And that's the top set. Forgot the little bit driver, but nothing special there. All right, let's go into the next drawer. Let me move out the way for you guys. It's a little hard with the space I have here and try to keep the camera steady, but open this up. You have this beautiful thing right over here. This is the Tecton chrome socket set. Absolutely love it. No skips from the small sizes all the way up to, what is this? 24 millimeters. Deep and shallow. Can't put it back. They are twist locking, so I can actually lift up this entire thing off of one of those sockets. Ratchet is great. It's a locking ratchet. Definitely recommend. Maybe the comfort grip would be something I change, but other than that, great ratchet. Love it. As you can see, it's all greased up. I do use this quite a bit. Doesn't get babied necessarily, but it does get used. But I don't put them on impacts, so I guess you could say I babied them, but they get quite a bit of use. Highly recommend this set. If you want to drop the money on them, I'll put it right here. They're decently expensive, but cheaper than the snap-ons. Definitely recommend this set. Lifetime warranty. Look into Tecton. Fantastic brand. Like I said, a little pricey, but fantastic. Move over to the left over here. We have the Icon longer hex sockets, I guess you want to call them. Standard and metric. Underneath those, I have my 3/8 impact sockets, impact extensions, as well as my chrome from Icon as well. Good set, all different sizes, anything you might need. Typical Husky paint scraper, use this to clean up. As you can see, it still has some grease on there. Moving right over here, we got the Icon crow's feet. Now, if you're working with hydraulic lines or any lines in general, brake lines, this is a great set to have. I use majority of these on a regular basis. As you can see, the case is a little beat up. I'm gonna try to find another way to store these, probably make them a little more compact. That way I make more room in here. But great set to have. Pick those up if you're working on hydraulics, if you're working on brake lines. Great set. Definitely recommend those. Icon picks, self-explanatory. They're picks, comfort handles. They feel good in the hands. Also, they got the lifetime warranty. You walk into the store, within 5 minutes you're in and out. Right over here we have a Husky pass-through set. Now this, rarely used. I probably use this a total, move this out the way. Whoa. There you go, there's the ratchet in there with some sockets. Probably use this a total of like 3 times. Nothing special to talk about, nothing to write home about. Icon impact filter sockets. They're this, off camera. 7-piece oil filter socket set. I really only needed the 32, which is right over here. for a shallow socket. So I ended up buying the whole set. So if you're doing oil changes on the regular, one of the lights turned off, but it's no big deal. I can actually see a little bit better. It's not as bright. Good set if you're doing oil changes, or if you need it for yourself for doing your oil change at home. Good kit to have. Electric soldering as well as a propane soldering and desoldering kit. Good to have both. This is not always charged, and it takes a little while for it to heat up. Milwaukee fuel rotary tool, or die grinder, I guess you want to call it. Great, love it. Almost all my power tools are Milwaukee. I think all of them are, yeah, besides this one, obviously. All my power tools are Milwaukee. Can't complain. They make the most extensive line of tools. Call me a follower, call me whatever you want, but they're proven. They work. Get yourself one of these, especially if you're doing axles, to clean out the holes that the axles go into. That way it's not so rough, or cleaning up other things in general. Good tool to have. I might get the right angle soon. This is the cheap one that I got a while back. It works, gets the job done. Not for heavy use like what I use it for, but if you're a DIYer or a arts and crafts guy, or whatever the case may be, pick this up. This is my emergency one, or if I'm working on very tiny stuff, I'll whip it out, but barely use it. Wire brushes, an extra 13mm that I found somewhere. But that is my top drawer right over here. Next, we're gonna get into the wrenches. Oh, there you go, shaking a little bit. So these are my wrenches. Bottom half, the smaller half, is the gear wrench stuff. A lot of this came from that same set that I told you guys in the beginning. These are like my extra ones. So if I'm ever working on something that needs 2 1/2 inches, I'll pull one of these out, plus the one I have in my bag. That'll be another video for another day. Those are my icons. But gear wrench for the smaller ones. The bigger sizes over here, these are the ratcheting icon ones, the jumbo sizes. Definitely recommend those if you're working with big nuts and bolts. Oh, sorry for the shake. I'm trying to like get out of people's ways over here. All right, so these bigger ones right over here, they're great if you need to drive some nuts and bolts. Fantastic, especially for the bigger ones. Nobody wants to sit there with the big bolts and try to do it by hand. They're decently heavy, and just getting a couple threads in and throwing this on top and getting it in, way better. Right here in the middle, thin, husky open-end ratchets. Open-end wrenches. 2 different sizes on each side, from standard and metric, all in one kit. They're both, see there, 6-piece. I mainly use the 17 for doing like joysticks and stuff like that, and I believe it is the 9/16 for doing some hydraulic lines in between fork positioners. But everybody needs one of these. There's certain places that you don't really want to take apart everything just because you don't have the width to get in there with a wrench. This definitely saves you a lot of time, a lot of headaches. Underneath that, we have the double end box wrenches from Icon. Love these. I made a video maybe like a year back showing you guys when they were brand new. I would let you guys know how I felt about them. This is it. A year later, love these things. I use them whenever I can. If I have a bolt or whatever it is that I need a metric box end, I whip this out. This has the leverage you need. They're smooth, reversible. Love it. I love this little like lip that these have. There's times where you want to get in there, you can flex it, put it in there. It's not locking, but great. I use this 10mm a lot. Let's put this back on top. Right over here, we got some hyper tough stubbies. I don't use these. I picked them up in an emergency. I think I needed like the 14 or 13mm, whatever it was, for a job. They're super cheap. I picked them up just because I needed some stubbies. There they are. I mainly use the crow's feet. In here, they do say Tecton. These are just the Tecton bags, but inside of them, I have my angle wrenches from Icon. Icon angle wrenches. Love these things. If you're working on cars, you're working on forklifts, a lot of the things you can't really move out the way because they're heavy metal, and you don't want to really take apart half of a carriage, let's say, just because you can't get your wrench in there. Definitely recommend this set. It has a 30 and a 45-degree angle. That way you can get whatever nuts and bolts or hoses you need out the way. Twist that back up, toss that back in. That's the wrench drawer. Underneath that, we got, come on, there we go. All right, so we got screwdrivers, miscellaneous stuff. Let's go through them. These I barely use. I've used them maybe one time. Great quality, fantastic set if you need them. definitely not something that any regular mechanic would need unless you really need those specific wrenches. I can't find any other use besides a starter that I needed to get in there with the S to actually break the bolt loose, and I was able to back it out by hand. But other than that, probably use this one time, that one time, and one wrench each. So they just sit there really. These are my sacrificial Pittsburgh wrenches. These come whenever you buy, like, I think it was like 20 bucks, 25 bucks worth of tools or whatever it is at Harbor Freight. They give you these for free. I'll pick up the metric one time, go back and buy whatever it is I need, picked up the standard the next. So I got a full sacrificial set. If I need to cut them, bend them, heat them up, whatever it is, this is the set that's going to get used. Underneath there, some Allen keys. Let's get that focused. Some Duralast. Underneath that, I have the gear wrench. Those also come in the kit. The Duralast I picked up because I cut one of them for a job, and I ended up picking up the other set. Brake depressor, whatever you want to call that tool, basically to push back your piston on the brake. Cool little thing to have whenever you can't do it by hand or by using other methods. Whip that out. Right here is the Icon swivel sockets. I'll put that right over here. Those swivel sockets are great. Love them. I picked them up because I needed, I think it was 2 of them for a Drexel, an older Drexel. They get the job done. Instead of getting a swivel socket adapter and the actual socket itself, this makes it a lot more low profile, and I needed that to actually get into where I needed underneath the, I think it was a side shift cylinder. I needed to get it from the top. That's a little cool little set there. Unless you really need those, don't pick them up. But if you do need them, they're fantastic. Get them. In here, you'll see my Icon scraper. Used that a couple times for valve cover gaskets. A lot of my Milwaukee USA made screwdrivers. These were my daily drivers that were in my regular bag, but I got a new set. You guys probably seen them in my posts. But I put them in here just in case I need extra screwdrivers, or if I don't really want to dig through my tool bag, I can go through here. Seal puller. I think that was Duralast. Nothing special there. Some flare nut wrenches, Pittsburgh, very cheap. I've used 2 of them on a regular basis, mainly for combis to get their hydraulic lines tightened up pretty well. If you use these on a regular basis, let me know. I only use the 22 and it gets the job done. If you use them for other stuff, let me know if they're good in the comments. They're all right for me, so if you need to pick them up, pick them up. They're dirt cheap. Next, we got the plier drawer. This has miscellaneous pliers, whether it be the channel lock style, Milwaukee ones, little dikes right here, the parrot grip, I guess they call them, parrot beak, some wire cutters, all miscellaneous stuff that just either gets collected and thrown in here if I ever need it. A little adjustable back here if I ever need it. C-clip pliers, I think they're called, C-clip, whatever. I'll put them right over here. Great set, all different sizes. If you work with cylinders and stuff like that, you know what you need those for. Strap wrenches for oil filters. We got oil filter wrench, the self-adjusting ones. We have the strap wrenches. We have the chain one from, let me get that focus. Chain one from Harbor Freight. Sometimes you have those stubborn big filters that don't want to come off. Use that. Typical sockets, I picked those up at AutoZone, nothing special. My douche connector, douche connector crimper right there. Right over here, I got my dead blow 32 ounce. This is the regular that I use on a regular basis if I'm doing like load wheels or whatever it is. Dead blow hammer, 24 ounce, and the FU hammer from Eastwing. Sometimes you got to whip this out to persuade some things. Let's get down here. Junk drawer or miscellaneous drawer. This has quite a few things. Whoops, let me get you in focus. Bunch of bits. I got Bosch, Milwaukee, you name it, a bunch of different bits. We go through them like candy. So I like to have a few different sets just in case I break them while I'm doing the job. Good to have. This Icon bolt extractor. Definitely recommend that. Putting that right over here somewhere so you can see, but this set is amazing. Not only are they actually good, if I can get that focus really well, you can see that it tells you what drill bit to use. And I believe the whole bottom row is 13s. oops, sorry, out of focus. 13 millimeter socket or wrench, whatever you want. 15 and 17, and then they step up from there. But if you ever need to extract any nuts and bolts, broken nuts, broken bolts, great to have. Hopefully you guys can hear me over the rain. It's pouring right now. Let's close that up a little bit. I got my label maker. Always good to be organized and label your stuff. Over here, I got my metric and standard tap and die set from Icon. Great. They cover a wide range. They don't cover all of it. So if you need to do bigger taps or dies, definitely get a different set. But for the generic stuff that we do on a regular basis, holds up really well. In here, I got miscellaneous stuff thrown around. The Maddox remote starter. Never used this once, but you're supposed to connect that to your starter. That way you can actually press it instead of having to go turn the key on the truck. Digital pressure gauge from XZT. Regular glue gun. Sometimes you need that. Fix some plastic stuff or whatever the customer might want. Caliper over here. Got that from American Hydraulics. They hooked it up one day. Love them. Thank you guys. All right, let's close that up. As you can see, this drawer is a little dented. I had like a 100-pound tire. Actually, I usually put my tire here and I strap them down. One of them kind of fell over. Hit the last drawer right here, dented it up decently nice, but it works. Latches. See, you can't open it up. You actually still have to actuate the bottom. Works pretty well. This bottom one, I carry all my heavy stuff, which would be all the Pittsburgh big wrenches. From time to time, you need to whip those out to break loose some nuts and bolts, maybe masts, whatever the case is. Doyle rivet handheld one. It's good. No real complaints. Gets the job done. Solid build. Great. Impact screwdriver. Good for brakes or for stubborn fasteners that don't want to come out. And this is my battery terminal crimp tool. The Zinc company got that for me. I can't really tell you how much that costs or where it's from, but nothing special. Harbor Freight does have something very, very similar. Pick that up if you have to. It gets the job done. Some cheater bars and miscellaneous stuff underneath. Nothing special there. And that's the entire toolbox. What's up, guys? So you guys just went through my entire toolbox. You guys seen all the tools I have. I love all my tools, just like anybody else should love all the tools that they have in their toolbox. They're obviously the things that make you money, the things that you love to do. That's why you got them in the first place, or you were forced to get them and you ended up falling in love with them. But I can tell you guys with full honesty and full transparency, I don't get sponsored by anybody, so all this is my true opinion. And these are items that I do use and abuse during work. I do heavy machinery like forklifts and stuff like that. I do put them through a lot of use. I can tell you that a lot of the tools I have in this toolbox, they have held up. They're fantastic, great professional tools. Highly recommend the Icon line. Tecton, fantastic professional set. I don't necessarily baby them, but I don't necessarily abuse them either. Like I said, I don't put them on impacts or stuff like that, unless it's the 1/2-inch impact. Obviously, I love those nice and meaty sockets, so I can break loose a lot of these nuts and bolts. Highly recommend both of those brands. I can't tell you guys enough how good they are. Gear wrench as well, good set to have. Lifetime warranties. They're good basic sets for anybody, whether you're professional or a DIYer or semi-pro, whatever you want in between. Doesn't matter. Good set to have is gear wrench stuff. Good warranty on them. Easily accessible. You can get them just about everywhere. So recommend every single one of those. Sorry, English a little hard, but the US General tool cart I absolutely love. It's fantastic. It's small enough that I can fit in the back of this van, but big enough that I can hold just about every tool I need in here. Definitely a perfect fit. I am slightly outgrowing this one, but for now it is serving its purpose. I don't have an extra long van. I believe that's the next step. Taking this van, getting the extra long one. I think that's what my company is converting to eventually. So hopefully when that happens, I get the bigger cart. But for now, this US General cart has been amazing. I had a 100-pound tire fall on one of the drawers. Just dented it, that's it. It works. Recommend the Icon stuff and the Harbor Freight stuff. With that said, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns maybe, or whatever the case may be, put it in the comments. I'd love to interact with you guys if I can. Answer any questions, honestly, whatever I have.
Caixa tá preparada pra fuder sua safada. Vem sentando na piroca, sua piranha safada. Vem, vem, fuder.